HEXPOL Nation. I am Dr. Mary Jeanne Holt here in Dyersburg at the Dyersburg campus of HEXPOL Compounding, and I'm happy to be with you again today to continue our conversation about HEXPOL Chooses Wellness and Body, Mind, Spirit. So today I want to address an issue that I did mention briefly already, and that is the idea that current science proves to us that chronic disease is based upon lifestyle choices more than our genes that are inherited. And we're talking 90% or more. And one of the cellular biologists, Bruce Lipton, who I study and follow, he says that chronic disease is more like 95% or more dependent upon lifestyle. So this is a huge thing for most Americans. I see a lot of people in my professional life who still think that their genetics are the cause of disease or not. And when genes are the cause, that means that they're a victim. And why change their diet? Why change their exercise routine if they think that they're going to get a heart disease anyway, eventually? So I'm here to tell you that line of thinking is not true, that your lifestyle is the big impact, the biggest factor on whether or not you're going to experience health and wellness or chronic illness. So again, chronic illness is what is the largest factor in our country not being well. And let me go back to this. In the year 2000, the World Health Organization did a study, a very large study. And in fact, they said, we're never going to do this again. It was way too complicated. But what they did, they rated the health status of every country on the planet. There happened to be 190 countries on the earth. I never knew that. Most of them are very, very small countries. But they rated these countries based on their health status. Now, the United States of America spends more money on our health than any other nation. In fact, we spend more money on health than our federal defense budget, 5 times more. We're into the trillions of dollars. And we are not number 1. Let me just tell you, we're not number 1 in health status. We are number 37. And this just breaks my heart. This is why I'm passionate about teaching nutrition and wellness to everyone, because we are miseducated, we are misinformed in our country about this. We are number 37, at least back in the year 2000, and I would suggest that that number hasn't improved, because as a nation we've done nothing to improve that health status. But we are 1 below Costa Rica. We're talking Central America. It's a beautiful country, but I'm sure they do not spend the money that we spend on health care. And we're 1 level above Slovenia, which most people haven't heard of until recently, because Mrs. Trump is from Slovenia. So this is just not acceptable to me at all. We have France as number 1 and Italy as number 2. And as we go along with the program, I will be telling you more about a specific plant-based whole foods diet that is the way to go to stay healthy. And the downside of all of this is because the United States is such a leader in international commerce and how we live our lives, that now other countries are picking up more of our bad habits, more processed food, more fast food. So it's very important to me to, again, to have this opportunity. I'm so grateful for it, to be able to teach you more about your opportunity to make wiser choices in order to stay healthy. If you have a chronic disease, most chronic disease is absolutely reversible. And you do not have to get chronic disease as you get older. And if you watch TV, you most likely are already convinced, because of all the commercials about drugs, that as you get older that your heart is going to change and that you're going to have to take drugs for all these different things, for your kidneys, for your heart. That is not true. That is all not true. And that's a very exciting thing for me to share with you. So again, lifestyle is the big determining factor over whether you will be healthy or not. So again, lifestyle, what you eat, what you drink, how you sleep, and again, how you think, what emotions you allow to express, and actually your belief systems themselves. So we'll talk at more length as time goes on, but I want you to be aware of this. You have control over your health and well-being, and it is not your genes, it is your lifestyle. And there's a whole new science also, I'll tell you now, it's called epigenetics. It's the study of gene expression without changing DNA. And that science has demonstrated that we can change gene expression just by changing lifestyle factors. So it's incredibly exciting, and I want y'all to be aware of that. So the choices that you make every single day are the choices that are going to determine whether you experience a sense of wellness and health or an experience of illness and chronic disease. I also want to make a point again, I've mentioned this last time, it doesn't mean that we don't value the medical community. Of course we do, absolutely. You need to see your medical doctor. So one thing I want y'all to be aware of, and this may be news to you, but our medical doctors are not trained in nutrition. Now, in my coursework and the information that I'll be sharing with HEXPOL, both in our program here in Dyersburg and hopefully later with all of y'all, I use medical doctors as my sources. There are many medical doctors that do go out of their way to learn nutrition, and they have been such a powerful force, not only for people like me that are in the healing arts, that value nutrition, but also for lay people that are just starting to be aware of their food choices making a huge impact on their wellness. That these medical doctors that have learned nutrition, they have newsletters, I'll be introducing you to them, but they're definitely the people that I use as my sources. And so I just want you to be aware of this for a couple of reasons. One, you just really cannot realistically expect to have an intelligent, nutritional conversation with your medical doctor unless they have gone out of their way to learn nutrition. And because of that, there's some misinformation out there. You know, I love our medical community, absolutely, but we have to understand our medical schools are funded by the pharmaceutical industry, and you may not know that either. So there's, to me, kind of a conflict of interest, but they are trained, our medical doctors are very well trained in drugs and surgery, but they kind of come out of school with blinders on because there are people curing cancer. There are other countries that are a little ahead of us in curing cancer, because they're thinking more outside the box than we are. And there's reasons for that. So I just want you to be aware of that. We definitely value our medical community. What I'm going to be teaching you is a whole foods plant-based diet. I'm going to be teaching you about lifestyle choices that you have the ability to choose if you want to. It's totally up to you. But when you learn that you can choose your thoughts, that you can be more positive during the day, that you can create intentionally healthier chemicals in your body, it gives you so much more power and control over your ability to remain healthy even as you get older. You do not have to have heart disease. And for those of you that have chronic illnesses, and I'm assuming many of you, if not most of you, are on some kind of medication already for a chronic illness, that we can reverse most of those. It's very exciting. So we'll be talking about that more in the future, but I do want you to know again that science shows that those people that choose a wellness lifestyle, that stick with being proactive about their health, making better choices every single day, have 35% less medical visits for minor illnesses to their medical doctor. Doesn't mean you stop doing the medical thing at all, but you don't have to go as often. And I think for most of us that's a wonderful idea, to not have to go to the doctor as much because we're able to take care of ourselves. And that leaves the medical doctors freer to take care of people with more serious illnesses and not things that they can handle on their own. And I want to review one more time about mind, body, spirit. So remember, we've talked about this. The mind, our thoughts and our emotions cannot be separated. They're all one thing because every thought we think, every emotion that we feel creates chemicals in our body that directly, immediately affects our physiology. So this is very powerful information because, again, it's giving you more control over your success, over your health and your happiness. Again, the body talks to itself through its chemical messengers, and our hormones, our neurotransmitters, also talks to itself through the central nervous system. So again, chiropractic is important as well. For those of you that are having any types of aches or pains, I'm telling you, see your chiropractor. You will feel better, you will function better. It's a beautiful adjunct to any wellness regime. And we'll talk more about that in the future as well. But in choosing a wellness lifestyle, we learn that our thoughts are things that we can choose. Our thoughts are things that we can allow to be in our mind or not. So the negative thoughts, we can pay attention to them, but we can, what I call reframe. We can see a situation from a different perspective that gives us control, that gives us a positive win. And I'll give you a great example. When I was driving to HEXPOL this morning, I was coming from my office. I had some things that delayed me in getting here. I had intended to be a little bit early, so I had not necessarily reviewed my notes as much as I should have. And I don't have a lot of experience with being videotaped. So I had the option in that moment, and I recognize this. I can either go into fear and apprehension mode, like, oh my gosh, am I going to be late? Oh my gosh, am I going to remember my material well enough? Oh my gosh, am I going to be nervous in front of a camera? Or could I choose to assume and trust that I'm going to have fun? This is a great opportunity. I get to talk about things that are very dear to my heart, things that really can help people improve their daily living. And I can have the ability to connect with people thousands of miles away, people that I may not ever meet. Hopefully I will get to meet all of y'all someday. I would love that opportunity. But this is a great opportunity for me because this is what I love to do, but in a different format. So I decided, yeah, I'm going to take option B. So I got here and it was just perfect. I wasn't late. Everything was perfect. Everything's been working, I think, fairly gracefully here for us in our little studio that we've created. So again, we all have these choices to make, and we can be happy most of the time. And it comes down to our choice. And just to even know that is a huge step. And the more that we go along with these little monthly get-togethers that we will be having, it won't take long before I'm going to guarantee you, you are going to know more about your ability to stay healthy and to stay happy than most Americans and, well, people throughout the world. Because most people aren't taught these things. And luckily, there are those of us that have this additional information, that are thinking outside the box just enough, and that are passionate about sharing it. And now you have the opportunity to share in that as well. You have the opportunity to increase your wellness every single day, every single moment. You know, so if something comes up and you get kind of grumpy, don't beat yourself up about that at all. No, it's a win. For me, it's a win if you notice it and you change. You never have to label anything as a failure if you are learning from it and making a different choice. So isn't that a positive thought for the day? So I want all of you to have a wonderful day of wellness, and remember, body, mind, spirit, that we are here to work with our bodies, with our thoughts, with our emotions, to keep them lined up every single day, to set an intention, every single thing you do. Set your intention beforehand. Why am I doing this? As you set your intention, then you are bringing into play your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. You're moving forward with all of this energy. Our thoughts, our emotions, our intentions, it's all energy. So you can be more powerful. Whatever you're doing. Again, you can be making a cake. You can be at work. You can be working on your computer, learning digital technology, which I'm learning every day. I'm not that great at it, but I keep an open mind, and I'm learning more every single day because I try to stay positive with that. So the same thing for you. So thank you all for letting me join you today. I wish you a wonderful month of wellness, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye now.